Say hi to Brent Franklin, a Texas Republican. After being asked to put on his mask, he crunched food in that person's face and then admitted fault with this. Gaming the system and doing his part to continue spreading COVID is just in many Republicans' DNA. He went into this flight with the intent of keeping his mask down for over 2 hours via the purchase of a jumbo bag of chips. He then wrote, "They looked away the whole trip," as in, this is a genius power move when it's really just disgusting. You could see his handle here as he broadcasted to everyone on TikTok, but just wait.
A lot of people have a different view. They have a different perspective. You and I walk into the mall, you're going into Lids and I'm going into Express. You know what I'm saying? And marketing, I think that you and I can see eye to eye on
Absolutely.
that you are not going to catch fish on a bare hook.
He's one of those self-help weirdos who go on a show and jumble word salads because, as you'll see
all the time, luck is a excuse and a way that people bow. People push down on all your hard work.
He doesn't have a single original thought. On his TikTok, he also calls women ugly when they come up on his dating profile to match. This is the definition of a small-minded man. As USA Today wrote, though, per the Schmuck's first video, despite updated COVID-19 mask guidance announced by the CDC and the lifting of mask mandates across the country, the federal mask mandate covering planes, airports, trains, and other public transportation is in effect until at least March 18th. Airlines, unions, and consumer advocates pushed the federal government for months to mandate the policy so flight attendants would have backing when encountering passenger resistance, but found no support from President Donald Trump's administration. During the presidential campaign in 2020, Joe Biden promised to institute a transportational mask mandate if elected as one of many ways to combat COVID-19. The CDC's latest findings show a 7-day average of 1,674 people losing their lives to the virus. It's flat out unacceptable that we take this as the new norm. These are preventable. We are also nearing 1 million deaths in the country. What will it take for people like this to value human life? It's clear, wrote Slate, that removing mask mandates on a plane right now is a bad idea. Yes, planes are pretty clean thanks to their air filtration systems, but good ventilation is one layer of protection. It won't necessarily protect you if a person in your row is breathing out coronavirus particles, for example. A study that looked at a flight in Japan from March 2020 found that those who reported wearing a mask throughout the flight were less likely to test positive than those who reported not wearing a mask. Those who reported wearing a mask most of the time were also less likely to test positive compared with those who didn't wear one. And those within 2 rows of the infected person were more likely to test positive compared with other passengers. Another study used computational fluid dynamics to model the transmission of the virus on 2 flights from early in the pandemic and found that when everyone is wearing a mask on flights, the rate of infection is much lower than when people are not wearing them. This study found that if the infected person wore a surgical mask, infection would drop from 12 people to 2 people, and if everyone on board wore one, it would drop from 2 to 1. The latter might seem like a marginal benefit to require mandatory masking, but with asymptomatic disease, you don't know who's infected, and without a vaccine mandate on planes, it's impossible to tell who might be more likely to be a carrier of the virus. The Federal Aviation Administration wrote on Twitter that there have been 607 reports of unruly passengers, 397 were related to face masks, with 144 investigations initiated and 80 FAA enforcement cases initiated. Both the Association of Flight Attendants, a union that represents more than 50,000 flight attendants across the country, and the Association of Professional Flight Attendants, which represents flight attendants at American Airlines, expects TSA to renew the mandate, citing the fact that many people are still vulnerable, including those who are not eligible to get the vaccine.